Hey guys, welcome. If this is your first time here, this is Moments with Mo. Today I have with me Miss Jackie. Welcome.
Thank you,
Thank
thank
you for
you,
being here.
thank you.
Miss Jackie is a culture preservationist, okay, elder here in Maryland. And we just came from a beautiful, powerful event that she actually helped put together. And if you see the title and the thumbnail, then you already have an idea of what this video is about. And we're just here to get a few questions asked by Miss Jackie, get a few clarifying messages of this movement and how you guys can be a part of this. And because this information is very important, don't you think so?
Extremely.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let you go on what is ASCM and what is the goal of ASCM
Okay.
101?
Okay, this is my first time in this venue, so bear with me.
Yes.
ASCM is Anti-Sexualization of Children Movement. Um, how did I come about this? I'm a great grandmother, and my first great grandchild is 5. And because I heard some parents in Montgomery County not wanting to put their children into the sexualizing curriculum, I became afraid for her, and because I didn't want everybody else telling her about life, I wanted me and her family to have that option. And when I joined a group of open-minded people who were also very ethnic, very black in their essence, who were willing to work together to solve whatever problems we have. We decided to develop an opt-in curricula, which means, for example, that group of people in Montgomery County, as opposed to going to court and saying we don't want this, they now have the option to go to court and say we want this. This is an opt-in curricula for me. As a consequence of this working with people, we developed a curricula. As somebody said to me recently, that doesn't really talk about sex. It prepares young people, ethnicity notwithstanding, for life. For a teacher, it would give a teacher a tool for those children who want to learn about their culture. I think that's the way I want to say it, because this curricula enables me to teach my great grandchildren about their culture, and by that I mean it teaches them the do's and don'ts of life.
Right, right.
They were born into an African American culture in a Western country that has a different culture, and that Western country's culture I call patriarchy, and it's a culture of violence. It's about individualism, which means doing what you want to do. It's about, as Martin Luther King said, greed, militarism, and all the isms, which includes sexism, classism, racism, ageism, and everything else. Whereas my culture is about, it's the first culture I've already taught her. Her name is Hugh. I've taught Hugh that her culture is the first culture on the face of the earth. Why? Because African people were the first people on the face of the earth, and they had a culture for at least 140,000 years before the Europeans came into existence, and they came from us, by the way. And what I tell her is, when other kids try to get her to do something that she shouldn't do, and they're gonna say, "Why you want to do this?" She'll be able to say, "Because my culture says I don't do that." What you mean, your culture? My culture is matriarchy. It's the oldest culture on the face of the earth, and it's kept my people safe for all these thousands of years. So why should I do what your culture says do? So this curricula formalizes what I just said, and gives me it. In developing this curricula with a group of maybe 10, 12 other persons, I mean, phenomenal group. It's one of the best groups I've ever been in. And it may be the first group that's ever actually produced something. We didn't just talk, we produced something. And it's free. We're going to give it away free because we think all parents, ethnicity notwithstanding, can use this tool. I almost forgot my point. Um, but in developing this curricula, I learned some things. And I think I'm 79. I have a master's degree in counseling. I've been studying Afrocentricity for 30 or 40 years. I think I'm very well informed. But I learned a long time ago that a smart man is a man who knows he isn't.
And so forth, this is somebody else's plan. So from there we move on and show them even further the real impact of that decision that was made in 1991 and what the results are now. So I'll show you one more.
Big business out of genocide. Well, now let's talk about a genocide that's going on right now around us every single day, all day long. We all see it. And it's emerged between three things: the crack, the hip-hop industry, and the prison system. Let's look at this. We're talking about big business, brother. We're talking about the kind of money we don't understand. But let's talk about it. Who's the most popular rapper out there? Lil Wayne. Everybody agree that's the one that everybody loves. Let's see how this economic genocide works. So they said, Lil Wayne, he's making $1 million a year. How many people here would like to make $1 million a year? That's a lot of money. It don't seem like $1 million a year to be genocide if Lil Wayne making $1 million a year, unless you know about something called the privatized prison system. What's the privatized prison system? Rich whites invest in private prisons. And the way it works, the U.S. government pays them, and you can go look anywhere, this is fact, this ain't no fiction, $40,000 per year for each inmate in prison.
Well, at this hour, we're learning more about how exactly the Vice President and Senator Eddie Lucio are tied to the GEO Group prison company.
From News Channel 5's Becky Medellin has that part of the story. Becky.
Simply put, the accusations against Cheney and Lucio are that they both made money off the GEO Group. Here's how it breaks down. The indictment says the Vice President had $85 million invested in a company called the Vanguard Group. Now, the Vanguard Group has investments in prison companies like the GEO Group. This indictment states the Vice President has a say in how much money the federal government pays those prison companies to house inmates. According to the indictment, that's a conflict of interest because the more money the prison companies make, the more money goes back to investors like Cheney. Now, as for Senator Eddie Lucio Jr., the accusation against him is that he was paid to be a consultant for the prison companies and that he made a profit as a result of his Senate office. In the newsroom, Becky Medellin, News Channel 5 at 6.
So for everybody you put there, it's $40,000 a year. Do you want more people or less people in prison? Do you want them in there for shorter periods of time or longer periods of time? So here's our question that'll help make all of this wrap up and make some sense to us. Here's the quid pro quo, the question. How many young people does Lil Wayne have to encourage to go to prison each year for the whites to break even? They're paying him $1 million. He got his privatized prison over here. The small guy says, I'm trying to get paid, baby. If Lil Wayne, it's simple math, $1 million divided by 40,000. If Lil Wayne encourages 25 black boys to commit a crime. Now, this is how real this is. The young monster that murdered that fantastic brother I told you about that this lecture is dedicated to, Kumar Rell. Before anything went down, all he did every day was walk around the community with his pants hanging down, singing Lil Wayne. He thought he was Lil Wayne. Am I telling the truth, brother? So this ain't no fancy conspiracy theory. I see it. I know a black man whose life was snuffed out because some young individual in our community was tuned into death and took the man's life and is going to be facing far more than 1 year in prison. So we look at that, but now, come on. If Lil Wayne is the most popular, and Whoopi agrees the most popular rapper out now, is he only getting 25 young black men to commit crimes in a year's time? So what if he said 2,500 if we go across the country, we consider we only talking 1 year, not life sentences, what does that amount to? That's $100 million. Minus the $1 million they paid Lil Wayne, we talking about a profit of $99 million. Anybody in here would like to put up $1 and make 99? Wouldn't that be a profitable business? So now we see big business. So why, now you understand, all kinds of music go through ups and downs, changes, right? Have you noticed that the hip hop era since NWA, kill ends, murder ends, rape, you know it has not changed? Ain't nobody trying to stop making money, baby. Why they gonna change when they have genocide right in front of our face?
I learned so much from that curriculum. I learned something today from those two little girls, that 12-year-old and that 10-year-old.
And I love, that you're speaking on your age right now. And I feel like it's such a beauty in that because, we hear the saying often, you can't teach your old dog new tricks. And I feel like that's such a limitation.
Let me tell you something. I don't have a playbook.
Right.
I don't have a playbook for 79. I turned 79 in May. This is new to me. I have never been 79 before, but I'm learning some things. And one thing I'm learning is that the things I'm learning now, how can I say it? What I learned before is framing what I'm learning now in a way that it's more understandable. This is a great experience. It is exciting. I'm telling you. People don't understand how exciting this is. At 79, people can say things to me, and it means more than what it did before. It's the same thing I've heard before, but it means more.
And do you think that comes with just the walk of life, like experiencing things, and then now you have a new process, a new perspective on
I'm glad you
how you
asked me that.
interpret that information?
I think almost everything is old, ancient.
Right.
It came from ancient Africa. They just have not taught it to us. So I'm saying, I think though if I know in 2024, those ancient Africans had to have known it after all those. They have to know what I know. It's just that because I've been miseducated, I don't know, and so it's new to me. And
So
and to answer your question, I wasn't told that being 79 was going to be exciting.
Right.
So the messages that I got from society is I'm supposed to be old and slow and forgetful and all this kind. So no.
Wow. That's so important. The fact that you're hitting on this right now is so important because, like you said, society and the conditioning conditions us to have a certain projection of our future and belief that creates that future that we wish not to, experience.
I think the system took older Black people out of the homes and put them in senior citizens' homes to keep younger people from learning what it is I'm talking about, from learning how great it is. And therefore, the young people are left, like I was left, with the impression that I was supposed to be decrepit. That's not what Africa says. When I look at the National Geographic pictures, I see an old man who can still take a straw with a bead and hit the monkey way up there. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about my senior peers.
I want to touch on something. Okay, so we're talking about education and we're talking about miseducation. How do you feel like the system has failed the children, the families, and again, what is this curriculum coming in here to do for those said families, those said children, those institutions?
That's two different questions. I think the system has taught us not to know our talent, skills, and abilities on an individual level. I'm a counselor. I ask my client, what are your strengths? And for so long, I didn't know what my strengths were. And then once I learned what they were, I was ashamed to talk about them because, you think you so much. Or why not know what your strengths are? Why not praise yourself for having those strengths? The Creator gave them to you. It's the result of the strengths of those 10 or 12 people in that room that produced this curricula.
Unhealthy sexualization, we are giving them a sex education from our perspective. In other words, what should the children know about sex other than I saw something that wasn't appropriate? They have some stuff over there. We're not here to teach them whatever the processing that people use, like the brother said, to teach and introduce the birds and the bees to their children. That doesn't have to change. What changes is the way that people are getting introduced to it today is that you have to teach them X, Y, and Z. That's the European perspective. We look at it reverse. We have to teach them there are people out here that have harmful intentions. This is how you can tell an older person that says something that's inappropriate, stay away from them and tell somebody. That's us teaching the sexual education. One day, you as a young boy, you're going to be a man. In order to be a man, you're going to be able to take care of this woman. You're going to be able to protect her. She's going to be relying on you for strength and leadership and guidance. You're a woman. You're going to grow up as a little girl to become a woman. That man is going to be. You're going to be a wife. You're going to be a mother. You're going to have, and at some point, you're going to have a child. These things, for us, that is sexual education. So what we're doing is we're redefining it, not as teaching children how to have sex, but teaching them how to protect themselves and be armed in whatever their cultural construct is. As it relates to what she's saying, whatever people have been doing to teach your children about that process, we can continue. What this is reconceptualizing it so that now the children are properly armed in the world that we live in.
From their strengths, because we got rid of the people who were I can't oriented. The 12 people in the room were all possibility thinkers. This curricula came out of the collection of our talents, strengths, and abilities. And its purpose is to teach children how to maneuver the life in the 21st century. Yeah. It's called Anti-Sexualization of Children, but it's about teaching children how to manage life in the 21st century, what happens to be sexualized right now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I used to watch TV, it was Father Knows Best. It was Howdy Doody. Nothing about sex. Mm-hmm. Nothing. But now society is so sexualized, kids need to know how to manage that. And this curriculum teaches them how to manage not only that, but how to negotiate life in the 21st century.
How does propaganda come again, is used as a weapon to, keep the children from being in that space or being in a space that is not healthy for them? Like you're saying, today, social media is so big. I'm seeing the youth today, they know more songs, more dances, more anything that I will ever like. And, I'm a 90s baby, but it amazes me how younger and younger they are and how they know the lyrics to these rap songs. They know the lyrics to the music. They're twerking. They know what twerking is. They're shaking and gyrating. And so can you speak on propaganda and how has that been weaponized?
Very good. It has been weaponized. The patriarchal culture has an intent, a purpose, a plan, an agenda. And their agenda is in messages, religious messages, educational messages, now social media messages. And the messages are hidden, which means they're subliminal. Mm-hmm. You don't know that they're there. You have to really be shown them to see them.
Yeah, I thought that was
see them. So propaganda is what's teaching our children today. As parents, we think we're the ones who are teaching the children. It's the propaganda. We put a kid in front of a TV at what age? They really begin to internalize messages at least by 6 months of age. Mm-hmm. So by the time they're talking, they have already been educated by the system's propaganda messages.
And that's so powerful because I don't know, this is a fun fact. Okay, you can look it up, that the conscious mind takes in about 2,000 bits of data. while the subconscious mind takes in 400 billion bits of data, and it's never offline. It never,
Exactly.
yeah, it never turns off.
24/7.
So even while, that's why things like sleep affirmations, when you listen to those while you sleep, your mind is still hearing it, still picking it up, because it's processing. It's a computer that doesn't shut off. Now your conscious mind, you could shut that on, you could shut that off. So I think it's so important for people to know that, at that young of an age, how your children are already getting introduced into
They're being
this.
taught.
Yeah, they're being taught.
They're being parented by the propaganda of the system.
Mm.
And I don't have a word that means more important. It's paramount that we know what's teaching our children, because we hold our children responsible. When that little boy hits somebody, or that little girl hits somebody, we hit them or spank them because we think that they decided to do that. No, they didn't. They saw it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Which is tell lies to our visions.
Everything.
It's
Whatever
telling
your
lies
child
to
does
our
that you didn't teach them, that you don't want them to do, I asked my great granddaughter when she says a word or gives a face. I said, "Where'd you get that from?" I said, "Have you ever seen your mama do that?" She said, "No." "You see your daddy do that?" "No." We live in a 4-generation house, so I go down the line. You see granddaddy, grandmama, or great grandma do that? No. She now knows to say, after I finish giving her the list, she now knows to say, "I got it from TV."
Right.
Which means I'm teaching her to analyze what's on television, to know what she sees, and to decide if it's good or bad.
Yes.
So that goes into now media. Okay, so with media, I feel like media is that double-edged sword. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, it is.
It's very a powerful tool, but like everything is in the holder, the intention behind the person that's creating this media, and again, how media has influenced and still continues to, it always has. Once, how was it when the first TV came out, and it was
well, first, I'm technical. I'm very technical. What did you say? The media, something about double-edged sword, has a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Because right now we just have one side of the sword. That's theirs. Well, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but my point is that we need to use the other side, because we can reverse all of this by producing our own media.
Like we doing right here, right now.
Now back to what did you ask me? The media started before the television. It was first when Europeans went into into Africa. The first colonizing tool they used was the church. If life began in Africa and ancient man didn't know about the sperm and the egg, all they saw was life come out of a woman. So he was really God. Who was God? If ancient man didn't know about the sperm and the egg, and they only saw a baby come out of a woman, then who was God? It was a woman. The European came in and taught, no, it's a man. And ancient man didn't know about the sperm and the egg, and they only saw the baby come out of the mother. And like any other animal, we're animals. They had sex. They didn't know anything about fathers. They didn't know about impregnation. All they knew is life came out of her. So who was the original father? The men in the tribe. Not a man over here. The European came in and said, "Oh no, I'm the father and I'm God." That was the first propaganda. And then they put us in their schools. And they said, "You don't have a culture. Oh, you ugly, and you're this and you're that, and I'm superior." That was the second tool of propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
Media just made it easier and quicker and faster and everything.
So it went from just being in these established places to newspapers to now television and radio.
Sigmund Freud's nephew, Edward Bernays, is the father of propaganda. And his first tool of propaganda was to induce women, of course, white women, to smoke. And therefore, there was a parade, that New York, that Christmas parade, I think it was that, and they had women smoking, and women began to smoke. So yes, the two-sided sword. We have got to take up the sword and use it to our purpose, for our purpose, to our advantage. And it's so easy today. You just proved that, because I'm sitting here, I'm going to be on the media.
And I'm sure they're going to eat you up, okay? Listen, and I feel like even when it comes to, and you guys actually hit on this today during this meeting here, about entertainment. Everybody, entertainment, and but entertainment isn't just, it's like diving into what is entertainment, okay?
It's like you said, it's a double-edged sword.
It is a double-edged sword. And okay, here it says enter, to go into, tame, to capture and hold, meant means or result of an action. Okay, now it was really beautiful that when he spoke about it, how he broke that down, and it's just like, what are they capturing? What are they entering into? Your soul, your spirit, your psyche, your subconscious. Okay, why do they want to hold and capture that? Why do they want to hold and capture that?
I think the perfect example is that video they showed about the rappers being invited to this private meeting, and they were told that the decision makers, which means the white elite who have the power to control things, were investing in prisons, and therefore they wanted the prisons to stay full. And they had found that rap music influences behavior. And therefore, they wanted the content of the rap movement to be, what is it, ghetto, or?
What the terminology, what you would say,
what
people would say, maybe ghetto, they would call it what?
Gangster.
Gangster,
gangster
okay,
rap.
yeah, okay.
Which means they show all the gangster, quote unquote, behaviors, and yes, kids would watch it and internalize it, and then act it out, and then end up going to jail, and the jails are full.
We see this every day. And
the white people, the millionaires, make millions. And they were telling these rappers, this is what you've got to do. And they call that entertainment.
And
what they said initially was, we're going to stop paying for the revolutionary rap music. The rap music that teaches you to be wholesome and to stay out of jail. We're not going to pay for that anymore. We're going to pay for this. So there comes the propaganda, and there is the double edge of entertainment, which is propaganda.
Yes.
It can be used either way.
Yes.
We just going to have to become sold on using it for our purpose.
I really do think it's so important. That's why, we came here. We drove basically 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours here to really be here in the thick of it, because for me it's very important. Growing up in Philly, from Philly, I've seen and saw a lot. Philly is a tough city to live in, to experience. So today's the children that I see today compared to the kids and the children around the time when I was a child are just too. It's an extreme difference of how you see how the youth are, because even more so now, because of the media, because of propaganda, there's so many kids out here in the news, or you're hearing that accidentally, unalive themselves because they're flexing a gun. They want to show a gun off with their friends. And you got the kids, they want to flex their money on social media and on TikTok. You're 8, you're 7, you don't even have a job. You don't even know what it takes to really earn it, what your parents have to do, what your grandparents had to do. You get what I'm saying? And that's why I guess I'm so passionate. I'm here and I'm excited that I'm here with you. I'm sitting here. We're sharing this moment with the Moments with Mo family, because I do believe our children are targeted. They are extremely, these people, they're very predatorial with how they infiltrate them spaces.
Okay.
Again, knowing the science behind that, yeah, we know this. It's scientific.
Yeah.
4 billion bits of data, and your conscious mind only do 2. So whatever you're seeing with your conscious mind, your subconscious is picking up everything. So it's so
Our kids are being used as a tool,
yeah,
because through our kids, they will make money once the kids are in jail.
right.
So they told these rappers, stop making revolutionary music that will enable black people to liberate themselves. Start making this gangster rap music that will lead them straight to jail.
And that leads the money straight into our pockets.
Yes.
It's a
That's what the,
slimy game. Sick game.
The kids are the tools, and that's because 3 years, 7 for sure, they learned it. 3 years. They say that when 7, what a person learns sort of like is a foundation of what they're going to
From
be.
0 to 7.
So if these kids, our kids, are watching gangster rap from 6 months on, I say 12 months, they have the basics. They can't verbalize it, but they have the basics. 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
Now the good side of that is the same 6 months, 12 months can be reversed if we once we bring back. I'm trying to watch my language. I suffer from colonized thinking. I had been indoctrinated by the system of racism, white supremacy, and therefore my language is colonized, and I've been working on it. So there are times when I relapse, and I just relapse, and I've forgotten what I said, but I may have said if once we, when I really should have said when we go back to revolutionary rap. From that moment, the reversal
is already
will begin.
Yes.
We will begin to take control as of that moment. And I'm
Yes.
waiting for that moment.
I just think
I cannot wait.
I cannot wait. I'm getting goosebumps. You see them?
I'm telling you.
Because
I want to live to
so
see the moment.
It's so powerful. And that's why I feel like it's so like they intentionally took the arts out of school.
Yes.
They're robbing them of their creative expression, their creative outlets, and that when you're in a wall in the room and there's nothing to do, you start to literally go, and we wonder why, a lot of children might act out. They're just seeing what they're seeing on social media. They're feeding into that, and then they have nothing to stimulate them.
Nothing.
And the present, nothing to ground them.
No root.
And even the education, because I love that the education of this is not only for, this is very important for the parents.
Yes.
Because oftentimes too much, I feel like what I see now, and I'm just speaking from my perspective, is the younger generation of mothers and fathers almost glorifying that their child knows these hip hop, the rap, the culture, and it's supposed to make the child hard and strong for the world. But you don't see that it's actually doing the complete opposite, because you're disempowering them.
They've been indoctrinated. We have been
indoctrinated, and this is why I love
I call that colonized thinking. We all suffer from it.
Right.
And so this tool is not. This tool is for everybody, because it's educational. I don't know if when you all watched the video on subliminal messages, if you saw it, I didn't see the word sex in it at first. I really had to look hard, and when he got up and pointed to it, it was very obvious. So I'm saying adults.
And she's talking about a section in The Lion King. They showed a clip, and I'll drop it, where Disney has so many subliminal, inappropriate visualizations within their movies. And in Lion King, the wind blew and it kind of spelled out the word sex. You could see the word sex here. So that's what she's speaking on.
Because the curricula is free, which means your audience can get it, then they will know. It's also in the video where they had the tree, the two trees. It was bigger in that one. It was bigger in that one.
Okay, so what are some closing remarks that you would like to leave with our Moments with Mo family, and where they can come, where they can find this information, where they can actually find this curriculum, and yeah, what's a words of wisdom from Miss Jackie here?
First, I want to thank you for coming. I think that says something in itself. Your interest was there before you ever saw it. You heard me speak of it, and you came. How many hours did you drive? How many miles did you drive?
Like 3 hours. It was crazy today. It was crazy on the road. I mean, it was like 20 accidents. It was crazy, but we got here.
They came here for you, the audience, and I want to thank you. I mean, this is special that you heard me, and you were active. That's special to me.
Well, it's special to me that there's elders who want to give back. You know, everybody has something to give back,
Thank
and
you.
you actively want to give back, and you spoke on it. You know, before we transition, you know what? Like, I want to leave something here for people.
Yes.
And I say people because, you know, it's beyond, like you said, the colonization and breaking all that. Because when it really comes down to it, it's the matter of this.
Yes.
Your heart, who you are as a person, and can you love beyond the what the eyes see. Okay. And I just feel like this is going to reach many people. I'm pretty sure you're going to have a flood of people wanting to, you know, how to be a participant in this and how to get this spread out nationally, then globally here.
Well,
So
first, it's free.
I'm so happy to be a part of this in the little way that I am, because it's the coming togetherness like this that makes the tidal waves, the tsunami. Okay, we're rocking the boat.
And I need to say, it's ethnicity notwithstanding. This is for any parent of any ethnicity who has a concern about the sexualization of children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's free and it's for everybody.
It's for everybody. Okay, lead the folks with a word of wisdom from Miss Jackie. What you
think.
got for them? Okay,
well, let me
come from the heart.
Let me repeat what I started out with. A smart man is a man who knows he isn't, and therefore there's always more to learn.
Ashe. Thank you so much for being here, Miss Jackie. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.